Good day everyone, my name is Steven Chu from the C101-102I. I'm here to discuss the elements of the story. The story is called Himala, which is created in 1982 and authored by Ishmael Bernal. Let's go now to the first element of the story, which is characters. The first one is Elsa. She is the faith healer who proclaimed that she saw the apparitions of the Blessed Virgin Mary at the top of the barren hill near their town. Next is Orly. He is the filmmaker who was tasked to do a documentary about Elsa. And number 3, Nimia. She is Elsa's childhood friend that turned out to be a prostitute after the long years that they have been separated. Next is Chayong. She is also one of Elsa's friends and part of the 7 Apostles. Next is Aling Saling. She is the adoptive mother of Elsa. And next is Mrs. ALBA, an entrepreneur and one of Elsa's 7 Apostles. And lastly, Sepa. She is one of the 7 Apostles and friends of Elsa. Note, I only discussed the main characters who greatly affected the story. Now let's move on to the plot. The conflict of the problem was the societal problems that they are experiencing, such as hunger, poverty, and ignorance. They cling to the blind faith that gave them false hope, and others contradict their beliefs. As per the introduction, during the solar eclipse, Elsa proclaimed that she saw the Blessed Virgin Mary atop the dry hill, which is the same place where Aling Saling found her as a baby. After that, she started fulfilling the obligations of faith healing in the town with the help of her friends, which became part of her 7 Apostles. As per the rising action, in the time that Elsa was famous for offering miraculous healing to everyone, they encountered various strategies among the town. Death and pestilences had come unto them. Elsa and Chayong were sexually assaulted on the hill by the 2 drunk youths. Chayong had committed suicide for the shame, which is the result of that incident. The millionaire businessman was murdered and his confidant committed suicide. After those incidents, Sepa's 2 children died after eating the tainted meat at Elsa's house, resulting in a cholera epidemic outbreak. The authorities quarantined Elsa's house and prevented patients from coming in. Also, the tourists left the town before the disease spreads. In the climax, Elsa blamed herself for the recent tragedies that happened in the town, thinking that her healing brought these maladies. However, Mrs. Alba convinced the people that the miracle had returned, and the people crowded Elsa. Elsa used this opportunity to make everybody assemble on the hill, where she professed that there were no healings, there were no miracles, no sightings of the Virgin Mary, and pleaded that the people only invented the concept of miracles and curses. After saying that, the mass hysteria had occurred among the people that led to numerous injuries, young and old. During that incident, Elsa had been shot by a guy and gasped her last breath in her mother's arm. As for the following action, after announcing Elsa's death, the crowd was lamenting and gravitating towards her. Her followers lifted her lifeless body in a crucifix position as the crowd wanted to touch her and followed her to the car. As for the resolution, Sepa convinced the people that Elsa was a saint and a martyr, even though it is against her husband's will. She led the crowd in praying to the Hail Mary on their knees while going up to the hill, as the ambulance drove away with Elsa's body. The story takes place from the place of Kupang, which is believed to be a god-forsaken town for its poverty and drought being experienced by the people. The movie conveys how hunger, poverty, and ignorance of the people led them to believe the delusions, turned them blind to reality. As for the point of view, the, the story gave us the third person omniscient view. We can see all the happenings, including the emotions of the people. As for the tone in the movie was serious. The author wanted to address the social problems by presenting this movie. It is to show that the problems like poverty and hunger led the people to be hopeless. The way that they can only cope up is to believe the blind faith. That's all, thank you.
My analyzation of Himala. Himala portrays an example of blind hope for those people who are in desperate need. We see poverty, abuse, religion, corruption, rape, and culture of what the people of Kupang followed as Elsa made her last breath before being shot and taken to the hospital. A devotion that most people that are in poverty cling on whenever they see themselves in a situation they can't get out of. What makes Himala interesting is the concept of miracle and devotion of Elsa in her faith with the Virgin Mary that she claimed she saw. She opened her eyes when those that are close to her died, like Chayong who suicided because she and Chayong were raped, or the kids that ate raw meat and died from malaria. That moment is when she lost it and realized that what she has done leading up to now is all her fault. Even to the end where she confessed that they were no miracles is her last draw. She was pregnant. People believed she was a true Virgin Mary, as they didn't know that she was raped. Film's depth is with the experiences of characters like Nimia, whose job is a prostitute at Manila, who came back to Kupang to her father after her traumatic experience. Chayong, who neglected Pilo, who wanted to marry her, and he eventually left Kupang. Sepa, whose children died, and those that believed her slowly faded and didn't believe her anymore. A sad, realistic, and meaningful film that shows us a glimpse of what the consequences to those who follow blindly and not face the truth. Those who suffer rape, killed, and other horrid scenes. As you watch the film, you can feel the truth of it, that it happens, and it teaches us a lesson that we can never overlook. As it hits you, as you watch it, it will speak to you. That's what makes Himala astounding as a film, and perhaps the reason it got international attention all over the world.
Good afternoon. My name is Brylee AGUADO and this is my part in our performance task. I'm here to discuss the moral lesson of the movie called Himala. The town priest said this during a sermon in the movie. Whatever we're given, truth or falsehood, reality or illusion, what matters is how we use it. I used to say it is always important to face the truth. Now I realize we should not let the truth blind us to a point where it dehumanizes us. At times, falsehood makes a better servant and can do humanity better. It made me understand that not everything I believe was true and accurate. Not entirely you see is real. We should research, fact check, or look up on our own to understand the reality about what is happening around us. We need to open our eyes and be conscious of what is presently going in our country. Thank you.